What's going on, everybody? It's been a while since we've done a futsal news live. This one, a watch party. What's up, Professor G? How you doing, man? It looks like teams are lining up. I gotta admit to you guys, I do not know the players very well. So do my best to keep an eye on this and hopefully help you guys through it. But yeah, this is kind of a hangout session, guys. Yo, what's up? Just gotta fix my score bug to the current teams. And let's see what we got going on here. Don't think I'm getting audio from the game. That's interesting. Oh, you know what? I think it's me. I am the problem. There we go. Okay, so the game is live, guys. This one going on in Phoenix. I'm going to fix the score bug here in just a moment. But I think this is the very last. No, it is. It's the very last regular season game for the NFPL actually tonight. So should be a good one. This is two very good teams, BRUSA FC versus Colorado. And they are the two teams that have won the division the last two seasons. BRUSA winning it in the inaugural Southwest Division of the NFPL 2 years ago. Colorado winning it last season. So these two guys are very, very competitive. So it's gonna be really good. Really, really good. All right. I'm gonna be a terrible streamer for just a minute, guys, while I fix this score bug. Futsal, futsal. I love it. Actually, I'm going to do this to match how they've got it. And let's get some better colors here. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What in the world did I just do? Holy smokes. Okay. So how we doing, guys? How's everyone doing out there in the chat? still on a high personally from all the FCS stuff that's going on. So thought we'd do this watch party, keep the energy going. It is 10 o'clock Eastern time, so my energy might not be perfect. But I can tell you guys, the energy for futsal itself is still very high. So should be fun. I believe this is a community college near where BRUSA is based, and they have a similar setup to Aquinas in Grand Rapids, where it's a basketball court. But when they tape the outside lines, it gets really, really close to full-size futsal court. So cool little place. Always good crowd for BRUSA. You can see there's probably, I don't know, that looks like it might be a couple hundred fans. I don't know who's on camera side, but BRUSA tends to have a pretty nice setup. You know, you see they got the nice A-frames and everything, and advertise that pretty well. Clean up their buildings pretty well. And then their gameplay is really good, so that makes it interesting too. So it's all pretty good. Well, there's no commentary to listen to for this game, so I think I might throw on some just kind of chill vibes, hangout music for us. How's that? Is it too loud, guys? I think we're good. I think we're good. All right. BRUSA seeming to have the better of opportunities here to start, at least. Music's not coming through? That's weird. Hang on. Let me check something. Very faint. All right, I'll turn up a little bit. Try that. All right. Pretty balanced match so far, but I think BRUSA's had the better of the game to start. Still 0-0. Who are the players? Oh, 4 officials. You know, Professor G, I see, let's see. I see 3 in screen right now. I didn't notice if there was a 4th. So the players, Jennifer, the ones I'm familiar with. Oh, there's the first BRUSA goal. There we go. And a swarm of kids is coming out to the edge of the court. That's cool. That's the part I love. I believe that goal scorer was Micah. Let me pull up their rosters. Teams, roster. Can't remember his last name. Micah Vasey, I believe, is who just scored that one. And I know he got called up to the last camp. Yeah, sure enough, Professor G, I see 4 there. Huh. Yeah, looks like there's 4 there. Yeah, Micah's really good. Very talented player. Callie Martins is number, I believe, 9. Yeah, number 9. He's their pivot. He's very good as well. He's the one that actually owns the club. He and his wife, Kayleen, who's sitting at the score table right now. And then their goalkeeper... I think their goalkeeper duo might be brothers. I don't know that for sure, but I'm pretty sure Jared is who's in goal right now. He just did a short stint in Brazil before the season started. But yeah, those guys are pretty good. Those 2 are like definitely the top 2. And then I believe Mateus Lima, number 11, was another one that recently got like Player of the Week honors or something like that from NFPL. I'm pretty sure they still do that, so I think that's what it was. Their matches usually pretty high scoring. Yes, Jennifer, they typically are. They I'm the worst streamer ever. I gotta update the score. Hello, there we go. So yeah, these 2 teams are also pretty prolific scorers, Jennifer, so I would not be surprised to see this one be a 15 goal game, total, possibly more. Ooh. Man, that was almost 2-0. A great first save by the Colorado goalkeeper, and he couldn't get up very quickly. But luckily, Cowie kicked it right at him. I'll be honest, I'm not a huge fan of the Colorado goalkeeper. He's talented, but there's just so many antics that come along with him that just kind of drive me crazy. Like constant gamesmanship with the referees and stuff like that. I need to, you know what I should do? Let's do this. Yeah, look at the Colorado roster. There's somebody I wanted to point out on there. I don't remember when I see him on the court, but have they had a lot of yellows and reds? To answer that question, Jennifer, there's we talk about referees a lot when it comes to sports, futsal specifically, and a big reason for that is because futsal doesn't have a proper training program for its officials. And I think that the Southwest has some very inconsistent officiating that makes answering that question very hard, because depending on who you get, like the fouls are just so inconsistently called. It's just weird. This officiating crew, a couple of them I don't like completely recognize. I'm sure they've been a part of it before. I just don't completely recognize them. Only one sub for Colorado. Yeah, so Professor G, Colorado's kind of got a Jenga problem. They have to travel way further than the other 3 teams in this division. So a lot of times you see that they travel light. Ooh. Wow, what a goal. And then taunting the crowd, which is mostly kids, which is kind of interesting, but oh, it got deflected in. Oh, no, oh my gosh. 1-1. Okay, let your top tier streamer have a minute to update the score bug here since he's so smooth at multitasking. This will be a really good match, guys, because BRUSA and Colorado are 1-2 right now in the Southwest. So whoever wins this game wins the division. Share your knowledge about the teams. We're here for it. Tell us about Futsal's training program for officials. Tell us more about Futsal's training program for officials. That's easy. It doesn't exist. There are some futsal referee training resources from USYF, I believe. I don't know if anyone else really has any official futsal resources for referees, with the exception of there's a guy out on the West Coast. His name's Ron Leedy, who I've talked to several times. He's what's the name of his organization? It's a North American Futsal Referees Association, I believe. Let me look. North American Futsal Referees Association. Yep. Small little group at the moment, but he does a lot to try and get some resources for officials. And I think a lot of what he does too is he'll post clips. I think he's posted a couple FCS clips, if I remember correctly. Here's some of the drama from the Colorado goalkeeper already. Always. But anyway, so there's really not a lot out there for the referees. Something that needs tackled. Hopefully someone steps up and does that. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Knowledge about the teams. So for these 2 teams, I've actually interviewed Coway on the channel before. He's originally from Brazil, so BRUSA is a combination of Brazil and USA, BRUSA. And they have youth academies, as you can probably tell from the crowd being mostly kids, and they've got a pretty good little deal going on out there with the Phoenix area. They're pretty professional outlet, definitely one of the top ones out there. Is the keeper young and just lacks composure? I think it might be more of a cultural thing, but I don't know that for sure. It's just something that you sometimes see a lot down in Central American countries, especially where like there's just a lot of gamesmanship with the referees, and kind of, you know, you can't waste time in futsal, right? The clock itself, but you can suck the momentum out of a moment. And I think that's a lot of what he does, is he's sucking the momentum out of the moment. I'm not going to let this team set up quickly for a free kick in my half. Whoa, nice little move there. Couldn't get it on the other side though, and looks like the refs are saying it's out of bounds. Yeah, he does. He does look older. How old is he? Let's see. Doesn't say. More interesting that the refs let him get away with it. It's every game too. That's the thing. I mean, that's the tough part, is like, you know, as a referee, a lot of times you have to clear your head and think of the game from game one, but there is history amongst players, and you can argue that we see that with Imperial that they, you know, there's certainly been games this season where I feel like maybe there's quick whistles based on how things have gone in the past, to me. Not every ref does that. And maybe that's not the case. Maybe it just, you know, is coincidence, but check the biopsy. Gonna need you guys to get on that. Give him a call. I love it. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, this is I really think the Southwest Division is the best thing going on in the NFPL, and it has been for a couple of years. Overall, better competition. Little more competitive table. You know, you look at this season, Santa Fe Gloom, which is a team I follow fairly closely. Their owner is a friend of the channel, and he you know, he went from being in second place in the Southwest last year to last this year. I mean, it's a table that can be pretty intense. BRUSA last year ended up in having a really rough season. They ended up getting third after winning it the season before. And New Mexico Flagship, always very competitive, but find themselves all over the table. So it's always interesting watching the Southwest Division, because you literally never know what you're going to get game to game. And a lot of times when you're watching these games over the course of a season, like last season, for example, and the season before, there's a lot of split results in the regular season series. So, you know, any game could go any direction, which I think is really exciting. As a viewer, it's really, really exciting. Was this the legal leg came from? Yes, it is. Yep. So NFPL. Yeah, I was gonna say that kind of has to be a foul there. Hands to the face. Huh. So last year as well, they had a. Let's see. This is the third year for the Southwest Division. So the first year they were announced after the season had started. So the Midwest had started a regular season, and then the Southwest Division was kind of announced out of the blue in the January of that season. They got a later start, but they kind of compressed their games into the same period of time. They did not compete for a league championship. They only competed as a division champion, and that season Ole won the Midwest side and were crowned champions of the league. So, ooh, good opportunity. So Southwest Division was in the league but didn't get to contest for the final trophy. The following year, last year, oh, excuse me. 3 years ago, Ole lost in the final to Treezub out of Chicago. They were runners-up. Then last year, they won against Colorado Futsal Academy when they all played against each other. Once they crossed the leagues for the finals. So you saw, I believe, a 4-team Southwest Division and a 4-team Midwest Division last year. Right? I think so. Now I'm second guessing myself. Yes. So last year saw Ole, Futsal Factory, Detroit Imperial, and Cadence all together in the Midwest. And those guys, the winner of that faced the winner of the Southwest Division at High Velocity in Ann Arbor. Ole lost. Well, Ole lost. They lost 2 games that season, and both of their losses were to Treezub. They were both, I think, within a goal or two. They were very, 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 very tight games. And then last year, Ole won. They beat Colorado at High Velocity, and then that was over the summer. Obviously, they switched to FCS. Imperial also was purely to FCS, but that was because ourselves and NFPL both kind of told them, look, you got to pick one of us. You can't do both. And they chose FCS. So we're thankful they did. And, it made for a really awesome season that way, too. Last year, Ole lost 2 games as well. I think they lost one to Futsal Factory. It was the first time they'd lost to Futsal Factory since like 2019 or 2018, something crazy like that. Like Futsal Factory's had a rebrand since the last time they beat Ole. Then they also lost to Detroit Imperial when they went to Detroit. But then from there, they won out the rest of the way. Do any of the teams have an international size court, or are they all played in gyms? They are all played in gyms. I don't know. The Midwest Division's done an extremely poor job of streaming this year for NFPL, so they've been hard to follow. I think High Velocity, you can fit a full-sized FIFA International court in, but it's not like there is no place like Lansing where it's a full-size court like that with just futsal lines. So most of them are in gyms. Everywhere else in that you're going to see anybody play. Yeah. Unless it's too small of a court. A lot of times when we see a court with just futsal lines on it, it's often a street-sized court. Smaller size court. What was the difference in those games? Same players for the most part, Jennifer. I think Imperial had a couple more guys that they don't have now. But I think a big part of it was the court size. And then with Futsal Factory, it was just a bad game for Ole. Futsal Factory is decent, but Omar was a big part of that. So at that point in the season, Omar was really coming out of his, getting into his element, and he and Davide were playing really well off of each other, extremely well off of each other. Heck is that? Getting pretty chippy with 7:28 to go. Imperial really missed Omar this season. Yeah, it really sucked a lot of offense out for them. He was a great target for them, played really well off of Davide. They had really good chemistry. It's like 5 fouls for BRUSA. What's the benefit of teams paying a league fee for entry? We're on my channel now, right? I can say this. Ooh. Whoa. That one rattled the bar. Great shot, but not in the goal. I don't think they get anything for paying an entry fee. I'm not sure what NFPL does different from us that makes it worth it. And their entry fee is not cheap. I've heard anywhere between $3,000 and $5,000 is the entry fee. And I think they still have to pay referees. Obviously, they still have to pay for a facility. As you can tell from this stream, they're still responsible for, all their streaming responsibilities still fall on the teams. I don't think there's let me just check, see if anything's changed. Yeah, no commentator. So I think that's why. If you guys, someday when if you're bored, or if you're going down a rabbit hole and you want to look through the history of NFPL, and you see how many teams have come and gone, I've talked to probably 90% of these teams, before and after they've joined the NFPL, and they all say the same thing. It's the it's the cost, and very little back in return. Very expensive. You're right. Yep, becomes very expensive, and it's just not sustainable. You know, think about. I mean, just think about the clubs we're working with here. Think about like an Innovation City in Akron, starting from scratch. That wouldn't happen in the NFPL. It could not happen because they'd have to come up with $5,000 before they could even touch the court. So you burn out the teams that you have. Eventually, you run out of teams to lean on to try and join the league. And then when you stretch your resources, like they've done, reaching out to the, doing the Southwest Division, it really makes it difficult. I am so glad NFPL did find the Southwest Division, because I've watched some extremely entertaining games out in the Southwest, and I think they've really raised the bar for quality, overall quality. Even though Olay beat Colorado last year, I think that the Southwest Division overall, like top to bottom of the table, is a better quality division. So it's great that we get to watch them. Otherwise, I don't know that we would, because I think most of these teams were playing in an AMF league that doesn't exist anymore before this. And I'm just curious what they do from here. Midwest Division only having 3 teams. One of those teams not even fulfilling their obligation to play all their games. Again, not the first time it's happened with that team. It's it's frustrating, because a lot of us have tried to help. More deets on AMF. I really don't know much about AMF, to be honest. I know they exist. I know that they're very unorganized. And I know that they don't have, similarly to everywhere else, they don't have a lot of budget. So it makes it really difficult. It would be interesting to see them play FCS teams. I suppose that may happen if they apply registration. Yeah, I hope they do. Our national showcase. Actually, I got my notes from working on this right here. So our May 24th tour is officially, unofficially full already. We have 3 for Akron already. We have 3 officially for the national showcase, possibly 4 by the end of next week. And then once I think we advertise our East Coast stop, I anticipate that one filling up very quickly. I don't think that one's going to stay open for long. And then September, I'm hoping to finalize that location in the next few days. They do throw-ins. Yeah, AMF does throw-ins. They have some other rules as well about not only can the goalkeeper not hold the ball for more than 4 seconds. I believe that's across the entire court, not just their own half. And then there's another rule too about how long a team, not just a goalie, a team can hold the ball in their own half. So I think it's like 15 seconds is all you can have in your own half, which forces teams to push up offensively quickly. It's meant to speed up the game. There's no referee count for that, so it's really hard to keep track of. You got to kind of be mindful as a player that that's going on. I know there's a few other differences in rules, but I don't know them well enough to speak to them. So it would be hard to fly keepers. Yeah, I don't think you can fly keepers, but you can still play a 5th attacker. It's kind of a similar concept where that, that kind of kills all those rules against you. You're treated as a field player. So not futsal. Actually, you know what, Professor G is, that is the original futsal. Those were the original futsal rules. So a lot of people in AMF, their big argument is we are the original futsal and the original futsal rules. This is how the game was meant to be played, not the FIFA style. So 1989, FIFA got into futsal and kind of pushed out. Oh, wait a minute. Ooh, close one. Close one. Almost a BRUSA goal there. So FIFA kind of choked out AMF just by being able to spend the money. And AMF really suffered from that. A lot of football associations, you know, because they can all report up through FIFA, the same governing body, then you kind of create some consistency and stability that, okay, the FAs are in charge of futsal, and then they will report to us. We will hold the standards for both soccer and futsal. They do beach soccer as well. And AMF, you know, when you look at the AMF teams, there's a lot of crossover of players, particularly in South America. You'll see guys that play FIFA futsal that also play AMF. But for most of the world, they don't do that. Yeah, I talked once to much different game to watch. Yes, I talked once to Odias, who runs Colorado Futsal, just through text, nothing like extensive, but he said that he thought the AMF rules were kind of dated, and it made the games a little slow, actually, believe it or not, and a little boring. And so he prefers the FIFA rules. I've tried to watch a couple AMF games. Last time I did was when a couple of the Imperial guys went down to represent the United States in the AMF Championship, World Championship in Mexico. But that tournament was very poorly run, and you could tell through the stream. And it kind of made me disinterested in following it any further. So many better futsal leagues out there to watch that are entertaining. A few friends of the channel were down there, so I was really trying to follow it. Are you going to unofficially tell us who's in it? I don't know if I should. I don't know how Jeremy plans on announcing those. If I should. I will say the Lansing one is all FCS teams. I will say that. That's your teaser. Let me see. Yeah, and I think we're gonna see what is happening here. This is another thing that kind of drives me crazy is like referees in the Southwest. Like, you know how before the rule changes in baseball with like timed pitches and times on the like the timer on the mound and all that kind of stuff, like Yankees always kind of like notoriously had the longest baseball games of any MLB team. Like the Southwest Division just notoriously has like super long games. It's fine for them. They start at 7 p.m. their time, but I'm like, geez Louise, midnight, I want to go. They wanted to get in the arena. Yes, I think so too. Great save by the Colorado keeper. Wow, that was nice. Full stretch. Yeah, the arena's a huge get. Ooh, I gotta write down one more here. I just realized I was missing a team. Wasting time again by the goalie. Yep. Oh, yeah. It's been a very chippy game. Very physical. Boom. Woohoo! That was a nice volley. Yeah, so we were talking about the travel earlier and how Colorado's kind of in the same situation as Jingo where they've got way more travel than anybody else. I think they actually take flights to their games. I know the other teams fly to them. They don't drive. Yeah, it's about a 2-hour flight. And about a 12-hour drive, not stopping. How do they pay for the travel expenses? So, one thing I've noticed about the Southwest Division is that they do a really good job of acquiring sponsors compared to the Midwest. When they first joined the NFPL, I started following them right away because I was very interested, and they immediately were posting about sponsors they had and would have 4 or 5. They'd have like a main sponsor, and then, you know, there's another tier of guys they're announcing, and then there'd be like the smaller guys that get put in, you know, the footer of a social media post, but, you know, aren't quite as big of a, you know, picture sponsor. That's something I'm working on with Innovation City right now, trying to help them navigate what's best for them on how to do that. And I met with them today for a short period of time. They just wanted to ask me a few more questions and wanted to meet in person. So we met at a place that we thought would be a good sponsor so they could talk to the owner. And they were beating the streets today, so I give them a lot of credit. They literally took time off away from their family on a Saturday to go out and make sales calls. As a salesman myself, I appreciate that grind. I noticed, if you guys are watching this stream, I noticed that the score bug timer is off of the game timer by about 25-30 seconds. So don't be surprised if there's more gameplay after this score bug goes to 0. Yeah, about 25 seconds off. I'm hoping to do these watch parties for the women's CONCACAF championships. I just don't know when they are. CONCACAF hasn't released the kickoff times. I need to catch up with Chris Fernandez and see if he knows, because he's gonna be commentating those games. First time I've seen a team using the in-arena scoreboard. I think, doesn't Aquinas do that? I thought Midwest did at Aquinas. Wee, didn't like that play. That's kind of dangerous. No? Huh. I wonder why. For the playoffs. Yeah, I know for the playoffs. We had a nice chat about that. Unfortunately. What in the world is going on? Yeah, I could have swore they had it. I think they maybe just had their own scoreboard then, I guess, huh? For the regular season games. In a corner, in a table. Oh, you know what? I think they... So they reset for the last 23 seconds on the score bug, but then forgot to hit start. That sucks. That happens to the best of them. They had to plug in for Jenga Midwest. Yeah, okay, yep. I hate those scoreboards. We use them all the time for the youth in the academy I'm in, and it's just a pain. Halftime, 1-0. Or 1-1, sorry. Well, you know what else? I had this on the second quarter this whole time, too. Wow, I'm terrible. I am actually the worst. All right. While we're at halftime, I'm going to try and pull up the schedule for the Women's Futsal Championship. There's got to be... Nope, doesn't look like it. What in the world? Why do they do this? Why do they... I don't understand why they do this. Jeremy's actually played where this final is going to be. It's way too big of a building for this, but that's another thing that perplexes me about, and it's not just CONCACAF, it's everybody does this, and I don't understand why. AFC does it, Oceania does it, CONCACAF does it, CONMEBOL does it. They get these massive venues that are like 10,000, 15,000 seats, and then they don't fill them. And I don't understand why they continue to spend that kind of money on a home venue when they don't need to. They could rent a place like Lansing City Arena for a fraction of the price, and they still won't fill it. So why not save the money? High hopes? I think it's a good question. I think what it is they want to... Certainly, they want to hold a certain standard of how this stuff looks, right? I think that's a big part of it. But I also, like, completely don't understand why they don't think they can do it in a smaller venue. Because the last time anything like this was that full, it's always only for the home team. And it's just not... just doesn't seem to make sense. Like, I guess for the home team... if they make a final, then yeah, it's full. Like, there's a picture from a few cycles ago. It's like early 2000s where there's a picture where this dome is mostly full with the exception of one section. But here, I'll show you guys. I'll try and show you guys. Oops. Hello. There we go. So this is where it's going to be. The dome, as it's translated to in English, in Guatemala City, Guatemala. multi-sport floor, round arena, which is kind of cool. But this is the crazy thing is like they rented this place during COVID. So there couldn't be people there anyway. I don't know. It's 2021 when things were just starting to get back, but it's like people can't even travel easily to you. Why would you rent this much space? I guess the other question is, what does something like this cost to rent compared to maybe something in the United States? Maybe what I'm thinking in my head is an American number, and what is affordable down there covers this. I don't know. I'm not smart enough to answer that question, but maybe that's the thing I'm missing. But yeah, it's a cool place. Have to use all the budget? That's very possible. I mean, that's why we saw a U.S. camp during the men's World Cup, Futsal World Cup, is they had to burn through a budget that they had set aside in case we made the World Cup. Lights, yep, lights, cleaning crew. I've looked into all this, so I know that, you know, bigger facilities, that stuff's all kind of can be a la carted out in some instances. So, perfect example. This is a great backstory you guys will like. I'm setting up the Akron tour, and my original location wasn't working out that I wanted to do it at. So I start calling around, and I called my alma mater at the University of Akron and said, hey, this is what I'm trying to do. And at first they weren't super receptive, I think because they didn't understand what it was. But once I called and talked through it with them, as opposed to just email back and forth, it actually went really well. The conversation was really positive, and they were very interested in working with us. And their cost for a full day, I should pull this place up for context. It's halftime. We got time. We got time to do this. All right. Here we go. Move my chat. So this is James A. Road Arena, or as it is very affectionately known in Akron, JAR. The JAR. Oh, hey, they use cookies. Oh, boy. So this is a 19,000 square foot floor space. So the concept was, I know you guys are looking at a basketball court right now, but I don't know if you can see over here where my cursor's at. All this can be removed, and you can see that it's hardwood floor all the way to the walls. And then we can suck in this bench seating here. This, not bench seating. What is this? These seat backs here are all on like a bleacher style and fold in. So this could be folded in as well to get the width. This facility holds 4,500 at full capacity. And when, oh yeah, sorry, I'm catching up, Jennifer. Yes, so they, yeah, so yeah, and it's not, I think it would have been just short. It would have been about the size of Aquinas. So it's in that bottom. So look, the optimal court size that I'm looking for is 40 by 20 is what I want. 40 meters by 20 meters. So whenever I'm talking to expansion teams, when I'm talking to our current teams, that's the bar we're looking to reach. A place like Aquinas is about 115 to 120 feet long, which equates to being like, I think 36 meters, 35 meters in length. So it's on the bottom end of what is acceptable by FIFA for an international match, but it's still well within, within those dimensions. So this would have got us to like about what Aquinas is. And then we probably wouldn't have gone the full 20 meter width at that point because we want to try and keep it dimensional. So 30 by 20 at Aquinas. Oh, okay. 30 by 20. So 30 meters. Whoops, bad math. So that gets them literally like just feet short of what the bottom of the FIFA rules are. like within a few feet. So like, look, at the end of the day, whatever, it's fine. I can argue over a couple of feet if it means that a team of that quality can play. It's when it gets really extreme that we have a problem, like the Cincinnati gym for those last 2 home games, or, you know, Imperial's not optimal. We'd like to see it a little bigger, a little more space around the outside as well. So like, that's the other thing too. Yes, we've got hardwood floor in this picture all the way to this brick wall, but we don't want to be up against a brick wall. That wouldn't make any sense, because then there's no run out. But like, what I really liked about this facility was it was the same price as the place I was talking to, had way more seating, and had a Jumbotron, which would have been kind of cool if we could figure that out. Now, I also had concerns that, you know, okay, Wayward Ball could potentially hit the Jumbotron. How much does that cost? But, oh, I'm sorry. I said 4,500. It's 5,500 seats. 1,300 armchair seating. And then bleacher style on the west side, upper level of 750. So this is the west side that we're looking at right now. Still highlights. Okay, just checking. You guys got a clip of the game. Hopefully I don't get a copyright strike. Don't look. But yeah, this would have been a really cool place to play. So we entertained it before we worked out a deal with LeBron James Arena, and that worked out really well. Those guys were very interested in working with us, move fast, and earn our business. Scoreboard features 4 Optotech 7.5 foot by 10 foot LED displays. Yeah. Yeah, so that was a that would have been a cool place to play. But it just, LeBron James Arena, the guys at St. Vincent St. Mary jumped on it right away, wanted to do it with us, and it just made sense. Who would rather chat with you anyway? Oh, thanks, man. Appreciate it. Is that the home of innovation? No, that is, so that's where we were going to do the tour. I don't think I have a great Google photo of Innovation's home. I do not. That's annoying. One of these has got to open up. Come on. Jeez Louise. Well, I think on Instagram, Innovation City has a photo of it. How much did it cost? Oh, the jar? The jar would have been 3,000 for the day. And because once I told them the size and scope of what we would need, they actually offered to close out the top, and they would have discounted us because they're just like Jennifer was talking about. Hey, we'll cut our expense and we'll pass through that that savings to you guys to make it more affordable. So they were willing to work with us, which I thought was awesome. The original facility I was looking at, we ended up working it down to 2,500 for the day. A full 40 by 20. So we get a little more court space, but lower quality floor, less seating capacity, no a la carte options of, you know, the University of Akron would say, hey, if you want, we can quote you out to staff it for you. If you need us to help you run the front door for you, if you need us to open up concessions, if you need us to set up like a maintenance crew for you to be on site while you're there, we can talk through all that a la carte. I never got that pricing. We never made it that far. But just the fact that they offered it to us and were interested in facilitating on our behalf, running our event, would have been a huge get and would have been something I would have considered. Whereas at the other place, I would have, you know, the original place, I was going to need to staff it. I was doing all the legwork, which is fine. Like, I was prepared. I'm prepared to do that. But once the option to pay somebody else to do it and let me focus on the event and focus on the FCS side of things, that was very enticing. And then LeBron James Arena was a similar scenario to the original place. You know, I'm going to be doing most of the legwork, but we will have a maintenance person on site to help us out if we have problems, someone who knows their way around the school if we need something. The rental kind of goes outside of the gym into an open space, which is kind of like this is a private school. It's a Catholic school where LeBron went. So like their cafeteria is kind of modern. It's like high tops, like you'd see in an Applebee's or something. It's not like traditional cafeteria seating that I remember from being a kid. And it's more of like a common area where the students can go to hang out and study and do other things. So we can use all that space there if we really needed to. We won't need it all, but it's available to us, and it was significantly less to rent LeBron James Arena than it was anywhere else. And when I say significantly less, I mean like almost half. So it's going to be a really good home for Innovation City, and it's going to be a really good home for the tour, which is awesome. All right, teams are walking back out, which is sweet. Get the show on the road. Yeah, exactly. That's the hardest part, I think, is the waiting patiently bit. I got to figure out how I'm going to keep track of the tours, because with those being all-day events, that's tough with the little ones. It's not like I can lock myself away for the whole day. But the June one, I'll be there the whole time, the whole day running it. Well, we kicked off and instantly got a foul. Wait. All right, here comes the replay one more time. Curious who that foul was on. The second contact looks kind of soft. First one's not like crazy, but you can see where there's kind of a late or early, I guess, challenge. Missing the ball. I remember, so NFPL has a Discord, and I remember the very first Southwest Division game season. It was the last game. It was like their playoff, and it was Flagship versus BRUSA, and it got really chippy, and BRUSA kind of started running away with the game. Flagship was in foul trouble. They just could not get out of the eyes of the referees, and I just very specifically remember how the game actually got called off towards the end. Like, they just, last 50 seconds of the game, they never played, because it got to a point where there was like fighting on the court. And then almost immediately afterwards, once they finally cleared out the gym, the Flagship guy was like in our Discord going ballistic about how unprofessional, and claimed that the referees were kind of like, He didn't say that BRUSA paid them off, but he basically said that, you know, they were favoring BRUSA pretty obviously, and there's a few moments where it certainly kind of looked that way a little bit. There's some odd ones, but the stream quality back then was not as good as this, and it was hard to tell. You'd get grainy at times. They were in a BRUSA was in a different facility back then. But it was like, dude, your team started a fight while kids were on the court. How can you talk about professionalism? Do they play each team home and away? You know, actually, they've got a weird schedule set up for the Southwest where last season, I think they played each other all 3 times. So some teams you travel to twice, some teams you'd host twice. And this season, I think you only played one team 3 times, and the rest were twice, home and away. Let me check. Yeah, BRUSA played Gloom, Santa Fe Gloom 3 times. Oh, they played Flagship 3 times, and they're only playing Colorado twice. So I got that backwards. So Flagship plays Gloom 3 times. Flagship plays BRUSA 3 times. Flagship plays Colorado 3 times, and they only play Gloom twice. Yeah, it's just different. I think they just wanted to get as many games in as they could. And then in the Midwest, I think everyone was meant to play each other 3 times. But that didn't happen because Cadence, who is notorious for missing obligations, missed the game against Futsal Factory and didn't play it. And I don't think it was ever made up. Yeah, Jennifer, actually, they picked up a team that played in the series last year called Inter Detroit. Inter Detroit played in... Ooh, what a shot off the post. A yellow card for Colorado, though, in the process. That's interesting. Oh. Holy crap. That's only a yellow? Did he not swing at his face? Jeez. Oh my gosh. Yeah, so Inter flipped to NFPL, which is odd because I know, obviously I wasn't with FCS last year, but I know that they did not complete the season. And so I know that when I actually talked to the NFPL during the offseason, there was discussions about us merging. But it just didn't make sense because they have their Midwest division is 3 teams and 2 of them are useless. Because I can't trust Inter to finish a season. Because I've seen they couldn't do it for free. Why would they do it when they paid a league fee? Like, how can they possibly be sustainable? Just a very odd business decision. And then Cadence, I don't trust. Because they seem to just skip games. Oh. Wow, that's a blown opportunity for BRUSA. Holy crap. I wonder if this court is slick. I've seen Or it looks like maybe Sticky. That guy looked like he kind of stuck. He didn't slide. You hear anything else about the NFPL match that was canceled but not communicated? I did not. I think... When was that? So... I believe it was rescheduled and played because... They did face each other 3 times. But I noticed that that supporters group that... kind of did that video and called it out. They have not posted a single thing about Futsal Factory since. I think they're done. I think they're done supporting them. This is another thing I hate. Every time this goalkeeper makes a save where he has to hit the ground, he lays there for forever. Boy who cried wolf. Kills the pace of the game. It's so frustrating. That fan supporter group needs to come to FCS? Maybe. How far is Ann Arbor from Detroit and Lansing? I actually don't know. One of those teams possibly be a home for someone like that? Yes, Jennifer. Yes. They are. They got Moxie. 45 minutes. All right. That'd be like me driving from Akron to Cleveland. So, I mean, not impossible. Like, when I was a kid watching arena soccer, we'd drive as a family. We had season tickets. We drove to Cleveland most weekends during the winter. Through snowstorms, and I remember one night driving home and us hitting black ice and spinning out. I mean, we made that 45-minute drive. It was a team we cared about, and there's a BRUSA goal. The brace for Micah. He's good. He's good. He's a good player. Stop the face yellow. Yes. Yeah, that is crazy to me. I can't believe that. That's one thing that, like, if we ever went into the Southwest for a tour or for anything in the future, the referee situation out there is really bad. Encroachment. Should have blown the whistle before he kicked it, I think, but that's okay. At least he called it. Yeah, you think back to 2020, NFPL 2020, you had Futsal Factory, who at the time was called the Ann Arbor Mud Puppies. They had a supporters group. Same guy that did the video. Lansing had a supporters group called the Citizens. And then Akron had a supporters group called the Seven Sons. So there were 3 supporters groups in 2020. And now there are 0. Wish I could bring one back, but I got league responsibilities now. I can't be cheering for teams. Better training, innovation, or something else. I think they need better training, because there is none right now. Like these guys, like you almost I don't want to say you almost can't blame them because you need to understand what you're refereeing, but I'll put it another way. So I did a Akron hosted USYF tournament for regionals. And I'm talking to these really young officials I've not seen before, like college age guys, super fit, really kept up with the run of play, although, you know, it's youth, but even with the teenagers, they kept up real well, controlled the game pretty well. And I'm talking to them and trying to understand, you know, where we found them. And they're like, oh yeah, the referee assigner for Ohio just kind of told us that we needed to, we just need to take this certification class so he can sign us up for this. So like he had him take like a half-hour certification class that like gets them access to futsal. And then signed him up right away. It was their first time ever refereeing futsal, and it's at a regional tournament. It's wild. Oh, the camera's cutting out. I don't know what happened, but it looks like there's some more drama. Doesn't the commissioner need to support all teams in the league? Yeah. Yeah, but I think that would definitely be considered favoritism if I did a supporters group for somebody. I know someone who can help me with this. You know, it's, you know, I give the Southwest credit. They got over 70 people watching this game online right now, ourselves included. And I've seen them push 100 for regular season games before. They got a great following. Something happened out there. Another yellow for Colorado. Can't tell who that is. It's too grainy. Jeez Louise. The second half has actually gone fairly quickly compared to the first. I wonder what happened that the connection kind of went crappy. Is it grainy for you guys? Or am I having a problem on my end? Yes, Jennifer, this is the last regular season game for NFPL. I heard this has not been advertised, so I don't know what the deal is, which is not uncommon, but I heard that there is going to be a semifinal where like the top two from the Southwest and the top two from the Midwest are going to face each other. But I've not heard anything official on it. They've really not advertised that it's coming up. I didn't think they were going to do that, having so few teams spread out across the country like this. But I guess they're doing it. Oh, technical difficulties. Oh, yikes. If any current or future FCS teams see this video and happen to be watching the game BRUSA versus Colorado FA that took place on April 5th, 2025, this is why we want Ethernet connections in these buildings. It's 2025. It's very possible. It's very accessible. No reason you can't find a facility that can give you proper internet hookup. Yes, it is. Yes, it is super frustrating. Hey, there we go. Looks like we missed a goal in the process, but who's that? I think that was number 14. For BRUSA, which is... No, that can't be right. That's a goalkeeper listed. Nicolas Alcan? Or no, wait. It was number 17, wasn't it? I don't know. I just caught the tail end of it before we got bombarded by the kids, which was kind of cool. Huh. Oh my gosh. You guys see that foul? Turning into an MMA match out there. No car. Oh no, he did get a yellow. He did get a yellow. Oh, and BRUSA just punished him for it. Four 1. As my friends in Canada would say, this is turning into a bit of a gong show. Getting a little out of hand out there. Oops. So it looks like it's a timeout. 12-14 to go and Colorado's down by 3. Man, oh man. Bruce is looking good. Ooh, bad giveaway. How common do you think it is for futsal referees to not have read the FIFA futsal rules? Good question. All their goals came from their first line. Yeah, first line's pretty solid. When I talked to the guys at BRUSA, when I talked to Coway, he had mentioned that they do some like he told me they pay their players. And then he also mentioned how like he's recruiting guys up from other countries like Brazil and other places in South America, and I don't know technically how they can do that. Like by law, they can't technically. If you really want to get into the semantics of all that, because even if he pays players and he pays those guys to come up and he gets them on a work visa, the league itself is not a professional league. So it creates this weird gray area in the visa law that like technically that could open up a can of worms. Like when you see, oh, Colorado gets one back. It's a good goal. Like when you think about Kazuki Tamasawa being in a Jenga's lineup for the time he was, that was a travel visa. He was simply there visiting. He wasn't getting paid to be there. He was staying for a specific period of time and leaving. No follow-up, just travel visiting. So, you know, if he happens to play some futsal while he's here, then great. But that's why he was not available to them for the semifinal, is because his time had run out. He couldn't do the full regular season and be there for the playoffs. So you have to decide when he's here, and you have to have that approved for a time period and a period of time. And ooh, I don't know about that. He called that a handball? Let me go back and look at that again. You really can't see it in the frame. And that's a sixth foul? Whew, man, this is tough. Tough times for Colorado. How can they afford that, though? That's a great question. You know, I think a lot of these teams, you know, a lot of teams that have academies as well, the academy is somewhat funding the men's team because the men's team never makes money. There it is. Goal for BRUSA. 5-2. Interesting that the keeper decided to go stand at the top line there and this is another thing. Professor G, yeah, I see that. Yeah, I agree with you. Now this same referee for 5 goals has allowed children to run out on the court, and he's now, with 10 minutes left in the second half, deciding he doesn't like that anymore and is just now giving the crowd a talking to about it. So just another thing that really annoys me about the referees in the Southwest. Like, let something go literally for 15 minutes of game time. 5 times, 5 events. Oh, guys, stay behind the A-frames. Come on. Like, you've already let it get out of hand to a point that... Sorry. My other pet peeve from the officials out there is there's a couple of guys. These guys aren't doing it. That cannot be. Hang on, let me look at this. Wow. Colorado's just kind of like diving in, not really taking a lot of care. They know the referees are calling it tight on them, and they're not, and they've had some just stupid giveaways and fouls. And now he's sitting way back. Interesting that BRUSA is not up on the line with the Colorado guys. Oh, here they come. Yeah, no play on the ball at all. I agree. Went for the man. That guy's on a yellow too. That's risky stuff. I'm pretty sure that number 11 got a yellow in the first half, didn't he? Still a lot of time in this one. They can get back into this. Colorado can. Ooh, that's a great little play with the keeper. Uh-oh. Earthquake. Yeah, I've tried to say it twice now, and I keep getting distracted by the gameplay, but there's a couple of officials that their 4 count on the kick-ins is just like crazy fast. Like, they can get through a 4-second count in 2. Wild. There's one guy in particular, he's an older guy, he's got a big bushy beard, and he's like 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's just like, whoa, dude. Uh-oh. I'd be watching like this, guys. Oh. Hey, there's the rotation. Somebody saved him. Wonder if their tripod broke. Yes. Yes, it will. We've had those moments. We have certainly had those moments. I like to see Colorado's Fixo move up a little bit. Sitting really deep, which kind of defeats the purpose of his keeper flying. Ooh. Looks like we are handheld on the camera now. Notice it's really shaky. Feels like this line for BRUSA never comes off. They've definitely played a lot of minutes. Woo! Great goal. Kind of out of nothing there from Colorado. Well, I mean, not out of nothing. They built up quite a bit. But suddenly, whapa, good strike. Oh, wow. Another one. Wow. My favorite word, momentum. Kind of surprised that it's an interesting challenge on the touchline. 1 goal game. 1 goal game. 5 minutes to go. Holy smokes. Feel like I'm on a ride at Cedar Point. How many fouls? It's a great question. I think it's just gonna get more intense. Man, Colorado has really made this a game. They're still flying their keeper. Bruce has opted to kind of pack it in to protect from that. A really tight diamond in the middle. Coach gets a yellow. Man, that was a weird one. So what? So I think they called a handball for it hitting the Colorado player's arm because he kind of like carried it. It was on his arm as they were going. I don't know how you call that, to be honest. Like, I don't know what I would do in that situation if I was the man on the whistle. Great save. Wow. Against Cowway too. That's tough. Why do you think so often it is unclear the referees called a foul? What do you mean by that? Referees are switching sides. Oh, great turn and shot there. That's... I thought he was going to help him up. He just went and got the ball. What in the world? Best ball, the ref signals the foul call to the scorer's table. In futsal, sometimes it's unclear if it is a kick in or a foul. I think it goes back to the referees not having proper training. You know, if it's a foul, they should be pointing where the foul is and then pointing the direction the foul goes, like the and what is kind of a pet peeve of mine with officials, and I see this a lot at the youth level. They like they'll be running and making the call. Like they don't... I heard a very, very good futsal referee. I sat with him for a game and he kind of educated me as well as mentoring a young referee we had running a game. Oh, he misjudged it. Oh, the Colorado defender thought it was off. But BRUSA just scored an easy one. I think that's 6-4. So, anyways, my point is like that there needs to be like strong, definitive body language. And we don't have that from a lot of officials. Like I can think of a couple in our league that are really good at it. Like Steve Aarons is pretty good at that. Steve Seward is really good about stopping, making the call. Very clear what his call is. Regardless of how... Whoosh! Almost a goal back there for Colorado. Almost had an answer. But I think that's a big part of it, Professor G, is that, you know, these referees, sometimes they're not... That's something that I guess needs to be taught or mentored a little more, is definitive body language so we know from home what's going on. Fifth attacker now for Colorado. Looks like they taped an 11 under his shirt, because it is flapping in the wind. But that reference, of course, being to the number, not anything else. National interest waiver green card. Applicants must show that their work or performance serves the national interest of the United States. Definition can be broadly interpreted and may be beneficial for athletes significantly involved in development of sports in the U.S., irrespective of their competitive level. Oh, interesting. Very interesting. Legal jersey. Yeah. I mean, we had a player playing a 3/4 zip and the ref didn't make him change, so I can't say anything. Everywhere else in the world, you'd have an away kit with you that you'd switch to, or an alternate kit that you'd switch to. Like when I watch Argentinian futsal, they'll slap their away kit on if it doesn't match an away kit or of the other team, or you know, whatever. Jeez Louise. On a good day for the cameraman in Phoenix. I give him a ton of credit for being able to afford that travel, though. They just like it, that's just something you need to think about, I guess. But like I said, we had jersey problems this year. We've had wrong kit numbers reported. We've had, like I said, we had somebody in a 3/4 zip. That was insane. We had somebody wear a different... Ooh, that was close. We had someone wear a different kit from the rest of the team. Right color, wrong kit. And the problem with that... Whoa! Nice goal. Oh, was that the side netting? Never mind. Side netting. Not a goal. Colorado fighting for every inch right now, trying to stay alive. Ooh. Another thing too, guys, like not to pile on this guy, but another thing with this goalkeeper, like BRUSA makes the stop and they might be making a counterattack and he's still standing on the back post. He's just giving up. I mean, I guess there's no way he's getting back in time, but it's just like, I don't know. It's just weird to me. Seems like the wrong attitude. Oh, excuse me. Holy moly. I used to be better at staying up late. It's looking like kind of a serious injury for that guy. I thought maybe it was a pulled muscle at first. Hit the attacker's back. Ooh, they're saying kick in. Would you prefer to see standards enforced? Yes. Yeah, I would. That's what I had to do. I had to address it with the teams when it happened. You know, you get a number wrong in a roster. That's a typo. I'm not looking to like make a big deal about that. There were cases where we had duplicate numbers. That's kind of a problem. Not kind of. I think it's a problem. But in that particular instance, it was because it was a youth academy teenager playing with the first team. They kept him in his same kit and basically tried to I mean, it's a cost savings thing, you know, at the end of the day, this isn't professional, so like they can't afford to buy a kit for one day. I get it. I cut that team a break. But just an interesting time wasting by BRUSA. Whoa. So, wait a minute. So, hang on. Did he not just get like slammed into that and then was the Colorado guy, did he get shoved into that and then he got a talking to afterwards? But yeah, the answer to the question, we got to do it. We got to keep a standard. If we want this to get better, we have to enforce standards, because the whole point that like I try to make, particularly on this channel when I'm talking about futsal in general, particularly in the United States, England's got a similar problem, is like we're just accepting that no one's meeting a standard, and that's why our sport has no legitimacy and is not taken seriously. Like, put yourself in US soccer shoes or FIFA shoes and say, okay, we're not investing in this sport called futsal. Like, let's say you're US soccer. Like, okay, well, what's futsal doing right now? And you look up RFCS match and you see a guy wearing a 3/4 zip during a game, and this is supposed to be the highest level of futsal in the country, and it's like, okay, obviously we don't need to invest any money in that because even they don't care. Like, it's simple. It's simple. Like, even the kids, when they go to their academy games, take their home and away kit with them to make sure they have both, or to, you know, make sure that they have the correct gear. All right, so BRUSA won. It's still unclear what the playoff picture is supposed to be for NFPL, so I don't know what this means. If this is a semifinal setup or if BRUSA just goes straight to the final, I don't know. I don't know if somebody knows. They could tell me. I'll try and poke around and find out, but and it looks like they killed the camera right away since they were having so many problems, so looks like their stream is over. So yeah, we'll have to see what NFPL posts the next day or two and see what their actual plan is. I'm curious to see if we do see a semifinal. If there is one next week, I can't do a watch party for it because I have something else going on. But if it's in 2 weeks, maybe we'll try and catch it and do this again. And then depending on what their final looks like, same thing. Maybe we try and do a watch party for that too. So that should get us to pretty close to the women's championships, and then once we figure out what those dates and times are, then we can do something with that as well, and hopefully catch a couple games. I think I think the women's schedule, like the schedule blocks are out. They just don't have times on them. So let's see here. So USA plays at the same time every single day. Whatever this time block is when they play. All 3 games. And there's a rest. And then semifinals and finals are over the weekend. So we'll figure out the timing of all that and see if I'm available. If I am, I'll do watch parties. If it cuts too much into my family time, I might opt not to. If those semifinal and final matches are afternoon games, I still might not do those 3 games, but I'd like to try. If they're early morning, this looks like they'd be morning matches. Might be able to get away with that before my day gets too crazy. But if that's the case, these are probably like afternoon matches, and I won't be able to stream them. But we'll see. We'll see once they actually post the actual times. And that could be potentially fun. But yeah, so that could be really fun if we can do that, guys. So that'll probably be the next time that we see each other, unless I can get a guest to come on the show and do an interview in the next couple weeks. I'm working on trying to get somebody. I just don't know what our schedules look like. We kind of got to figure that out. And then we'll probably go back to Thursday nights for that. I didn't want to be doing anything while third half was going on and take away from that. So that's why we've really not done much with interviews. But now that those are less frequent, I'd probably go back to kind of that format. Or we might just move our day to a different day and try and make that our consistent night once a month that we do an interview with somebody. So we'll see. We'll see what's going on. In the meantime, guys, thank you so much for hanging out. I had a lot of fun chatting with you guys while the game was going on. The reality is I probably wouldn't have watched it had it not been for this and chilling with you guys. So thank you for hanging out and chatting with me and making it interesting. And until I see you guys next time on the channel, don't forget, play with your soul.